Happy Wednesday, Bernie Bobcat friends. It's Miss Carlson here to do your daily math lesson with you. I'm outside today because it's beautiful, so if you hear any noises or wind chimes or airplanes or cars, then we're just outside, so I hope it's not too distracting. But I wanted to first congratulate and do a big round of applause for all of you who rocked it at elapsed time. Your teachers have raved about you. I've seen the work from my students. I'm just very, very, very impressed at you. So great job. If you're still struggling, please reach out to your teachers, reach out to me, rewatch the videos. I hope they've been helpful to you because we're moving to a new topic today. We're going to learn about quadrilaterals. So you might remember some of this from second grade. You'll definitely see this in fourth and fifth grade. But we're going to talk about a topic called a quadrilateral. So I have some PowerPoints that I'm going to share my screen with and talk about with you. And I have a video. So if for some reason your volume isn't working with the video or you can't hear it, I tried to make sure all my settings were good. I will send the video link to your teachers to send to you. So I'm going to start by first sharing my screen with you. And I'm going to do my favorite color. So I'm going to write the word quadrilaterals. And it has a lot of letters in it. Quadrilateral. Okay, that's an R, by the way. Sometimes my handwriting gets a little funky. So I like to write words and break them into smaller, meaningful pieces if I can and if I don't know the word. So quadrilateral has the four first letters spelled the word quad, okay? So quad comes from the Latin term, and it has to do with a set of four, okay? So when I think of quad, I always think of how you have twins, that means there's two kids. When you have triplets, that means there's three. When you have four, they're called quadruplets. So four means quad, quad means four. So the beginning of the word quadrilateral means four, okay? So we're gonna be talking about the number four. Keep that in mind as I'm going through our videos today. So I'm gonna share my screen and share the first video with you. And I hope my volume is up. Let me turn it up. Okay. So we are going to be learning not only about quadrilaterals, but we're going to be sorting the quadrilaterals into their homes. So we're talking about four shapes, four-sided shapes, because quadrilaterals, and they also fall under the branch of a polygon. Because like she said, a polygon is any two-dimensional flat shape that has enclosed sides, okay? So a circle has no sides, so it's not a polygon. But a triangle has three sides, and all of the sides connect, and there's no open spaces. I'm going to go back to that. Okay, so a quadrilateral is a polygon because it's a two-dimensional shape with all sides that are closed in. It has four sides, because remember quad, and it also has four angles. So she's going to talk a little bit more about angles, but when I think of angles, I think of two lines that meet, and where they meet, they intersect. And in between where they meet, we measure that by degrees. So that is what's called an angle, when two lines intersect and meet. And there's different types of angles. Okay, so the types of angles you learn more about in fourth grade, but I do want you to notice that the square, the angles have a box around them. That signifies that that angle is 90 degrees. We call that a right angle, so 90 degrees. These other shapes have a more rounded. That's also telling you that, hey, an angle is here, but it's not going to be 90 degrees. It's either going to be greater than, which we call obtuse, or less than, which we call acute. I'm going to pause. Look at that shape and think to yourself, does it have four sides or four angles? Do they look like they're straight lines? Is it even a polygon? Does it have four sides, four angles? So she said it is a polygon. I want you to think, looking at that picture of the yellow shape, what makes it a polygon? Think to yourself for just a second. What makes it a polygon? So it's two-dimensional, it's flat, it has straight sides, and all the sides are closed in. So it is a polygon, but is it a quadrilateral? Does it have four sides and four angles? Okay, awesome job. I really hope you could hear that video. Once again, if you can't, I will send you the link. All right, so I'm going to run through only a little bit with you today. I don't want to overwhelm you with all of the different quadrilaterals we're going to learn about, but our goal is that you can identify and classify quadrilaterals. So our I can statement would be, I can identify quadrilaterals. Just for today, can you look at a shape and say, is it a quadrilateral or is it not? Later on this week and next week, it'll be, can you classify quadrilaterals? All right, so this PowerPoint's really cool. It takes a little while to load, but I'll read it with you. So it says quadrilaterals. There are many different types of quadrilaterals. We identify quadrilaterals using their sides and angles. So if you remember from the video, quadrilaterals have how many sides? 4 sides. If you said 4, kiss your brain. And how many angles? If you said 4, kiss your brain. Great job. All right, all polygons are made up of line segments and angles. The line segments that create quadrilaterals will be parallel, perpendicular, or intersecting. So here's where I'm gonna stop a little bit and talk. So parallel lines. I think of parallel when I look at the road. The road has 2 white lines and usually a yellow line in the middle that's dotted. Those lines are parallel. That means that they are next to each other and they will go on forever without intersecting, okay? So they could be this direction, or they could be this direction, or they could be this direction, but they will never cross over each other. If they cross over each other, we call those lines perpendicular, okay? So get your hands ready with me. All right, so parallel, perpendicular. Parallel, perpendicular. Parallel, perpendicular. Good. Be a test on that tomorrow. All right, and then you have lines that intersect, okay? Just like your perpendicular lines do, they cross over each other. All right, so here's a review. It says the angles that make up polygons will be right angles, acute angles, or obtuse angles. So this is something you'll learn in 4th grade. The one I do want to look at is the orange shape, the right angle. So you saw in the video that she would put a little box around it. You see that, it automatically should come to your mind, that's a right angle. That means it's 90 degrees on the inside of that angle, okay? The other ones are, if it's less than 90, it's called an acute angle. If it's greater than 90, it's called an obtuse angle, but you'll learn much more about that in 4th grade. All right, so here's the first one. We're only gonna do 2 quadrilaterals today. So you have a square. We know squares. A square is a quadrilateral that has 4 equal sides and 4 right angles. Okay, sorry, there was an airplane going by. All right, so we were up here. We were at the squares. All right, so a square has 4 equal sides and it has 4 right angles. So 4 right angles mean that this right here, where these 2 lines meet, is 90 degrees. So we have 1 angle, 2 angle, 3 angle, 4 angle. We have 1 side, 2 side, 3 side, 4 side. It is a quadrilateral and we would call it a square. Now, if you remember from area, squares are very special shapes because if one side of the square is 5 inches long, that means all the other sides are 5 inches long as well, just on the square, okay? All 4 sides are what we call congruent. That means the same length. So how many sets of parallel sides do you see? So remember, show me parallel with your hands. Is this parallel? Nope, this is perpendicular. Parallel and parallel. So I see that this side and this side are parallel, and I see that this side and this side are parallel. So there's 1 pair, 2 pairs of parallel sides. All right, one more for today. The rectangle. So it says a rectangle is a quadrilateral that has 2 pairs of parallel sides that are equal. And it also has 4 right angles. So the angles right here would be 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 90 degrees. So 4 right angles and 4 sides. This specifically is called a rectangle. So a rectangle is kind of like a square, except that not all 4 sides are equal, but these 2 sides are equal and these 2 sides are equal. So that means that these 2 sides are parallel, but they're also congruent. So if this side is 10 inches, this side is 10 inches. If this side is 5 inches, this side is 5 inches. So 2 pairs of parallel lines, 4 right angles, 4 sides. and these two sides are congruent, and these two sides are congruent, okay? So that was a lot of vocabulary today. I don't want to throw too much at you. We're going to go through the rest of the quadrilaterals tomorrow, okay? So what I want you to know today is what a quadrilateral is, how many sides it has, how many angles it has, and maybe think about if you're looking at shapes, maybe draw some shapes on your notebook paper. Think about, yes, it's a quadrilateral, maybe why, how many sides does it have, how many angles, or no, it's not. Because next week, we're not only going to look at a shape and say, is it a quadrilateral? Next week, we're going to take those quadrilaterals and put them into their homes, just like they did on the video at the warehouse, okay? So great job today. Do your riddle, try your riddle. It might be a little challenging today since we didn't cover all the quadrilaterals, but I'm going to challenge you to do your riddle today and send it into your teacher. I hope you have a great afternoon.